Markets are at a critical spot right now. So in today's SMC outlook, I'm sharing my exact trade plan for the DXY, the euro, the pound, gold, and also as a little bonus, Bitcoin in today's video. So my name is Justin Bennett, full-time trader and founder of Daily Price Action. As always, all of this is my opinion only and not financial advice. So let's kick things off, guys. And the reason I'm sharing the SMC outlook a little bit early is because I will be out of town tomorrow. So I want to make sure you guys get this video for next week. And also a lot of the stuff I talk about does actually last for really even weeks sometimes, because we do talk about some of the higher time frames. So looking at the DXY first, daily chart, we've talked about this many times in recent videos, but I want to draw your attention to this one more time, because back here we had the BOS. So in 2025, we had a downtrend here for the US dollar. Okay, we had a BOS below these lows. That meant this up here was the external high, and we closed above it over here, which I'll show you in a moment. So that right there gave us a bullish change of character for the DXY. So as I've said in recent videos, and I still stand by this, that in my opinion, this recent pullback, okay, as aggressive as it has been, in my opinion, this is potentially just a move down here to mitigate imbalances like this before we potentially get a higher low after this change of character. Now you can see the close above it right here. We also closed above it over here, and you can see the same thing on the euro too. The euro actually closed below its respective low by over 50 pips. So it was a very convincing close. So in my opinion, this could be a higher low for the DXY. However, I want to be clear here that over the last few weeks, what you'll notice from the DXY is we really have gone nowhere. Okay, I mean, all of this right here, ever since breaking below this consolidation, all of this through here, and really even since these highs, all of this has just been sideways action over the past 3 to 4 weeks. So structurally, there is no confirmation that these lows are going to hold, okay? We could see the DXY move lower down here toward the bottom of this channel, which I also want to draw your attention to in today's video. But before we do that, if you want to see exactly how I trade SMC full time, then check out the link right here on the screen. That is going to give you a free SMC training that you will not find on YouTube. If you don't see it here, check out the description of this video. And then beyond that too, if you do want to join us in Discord for my help with your trading, the full course, as well as a trading journal that I just launched for VIP members, you'll have the chance to do that as well. And I do share all my trades in Discord as well. In fact, I just put on 2 trades today that are in profit that I shared with members in real time. And the trading journal that I just launched for VIP members is a complete journal, complete with metrics. You can see here, you can log your trades, you can come in here, you can edit trades, and it works for all different types of markets. And there are a lot more features coming in the upcoming weeks. All right, so with the DXY, guys, I still think that this market is likely putting in a higher low. What's going to be key though, is to see the DXY confirm this with a close specifically above these highs. So this is the range that I just mentioned, where you can see that, you know, for the past few weeks, we really just have gone sideways here for the DXY. And really, in my opinion, it's going to take a close above these to really break out and structurally tell us that the low is in. Now, you can also see here too, that off of these highs and lows, what you'll notice is that off of these lows back here and this low, you can also see these highs up here. We do have this descending channel. So a close above this up here, if we were to come back here and test this high, if we were to get above this area here, that could also be an early sign that we are likely to see dollar strength, okay? But structurally speaking, from an SMC standpoint, really at a minimum, these are the highs back here that the DXY would have to get above to really confirm that the low is in. Until that time, it is very speculative, okay? But again, I think you've got to go back to the daily chart and this change of character that we got back here. Because really, when you think about it, you know, a lot of people see a drop like this following a change of character and think that, okay, well, this market is still weak. However, I would challenge that, because really in terms of, you know, look, if a market is going to be bullish, would you want to be bullish up here and buying, or would you want to be bullish down here and buying? And the obvious answer is you want to buy low, right? And so really this entire pullback to mitigate imbalances like this back here has only strengthened the case for a potentially bullish USD. However, we still need that confirmation. Okay, so let's move on now to the euro and talk about this. And very similar to for the euro, you can see here, this is the channel that I've talked about following this bearish change of character. Okay, so back here, the market was in an uptrend, carving higher highs and higher lows. Now, once we had this BOS right here, very clear, we had this external low, we closed below it, giving us this change of character, okay? So once we had that, I'm now looking for a potential lower high to develop. Now, you can also see that following this change of character back here, okay, we have had the euro struggling up here off of the top of this channel. Okay. So this is, it is speculative. However, at the same time, the market is holding below this. Okay. So we do have the potential now for the euro to give us a lower high, both in terms of this high back here, and then also in terms of this one. So potentially here we have a lower high developing. Now, the key here though, or the kind of the confusing part for the euro for the past few weeks has been this right here. When we look at the 4-hour time frame, you can see where we have just been sideways. Okay. And yes, we did get an internal shift back here that I talked about on the 1-hour time frame. You can see this was a change of character. We had a lower high develop, and then we had a sell-off. However, since that time, you can see here, if we go to let's say a 1-hour time frame, I want to show you just how back and forth this has been, because this back here again was that change of character that I discussed in real time. And you can see we did get a nice little sell-off. However, following the close below this low right here, protected high up here, we close above, this is a change of character. So you can see how back and forth this is, right? We have a bearish change of character back here. We then have a bearish into a bullish change of character over here. But the key here, guys, the key here, in my opinion, is going to be the daily time frame. This is really how you take what I just showed you, that confusion, that back and forth, and make sense of it. Because on the daily chart, you have the change of character down here. So in my opinion, still, this imbalance back here, this move serves to mitigate that and potentially now a lower high developing, but we need confirmation of that. Okay, so the challenging part right now for the euro is that when you look at this back here, right, what I would say is looking at this here on the 4-hour, you can see where this was potentially a BOS, although this low was very shallow. However, in order for this market to turn bearish at a minimum, you would need to close below these lows back here. Okay. All of this right now is really just sideways action. And this is part of the reason too, why the trades that I took today were actually on gold and Bitcoin, which we'll talk about a little bit later in this video. Really for the majors, guys, I haven't really traded them that much because of this sideways action. But I still think, looking at this imbalance back here too, I still think this area potentially around 1.16 could be in the cards over the coming days, especially if the market holds below the top of that channel. Okay. So speculative as of now, we'll see where the coming days take us. Obviously, if the euro were to break above the top of this and then close above this high back here, then you just have a continuation of this rally. But again, for right now, guys, it has just been very, very sideways for a lot of the majors. Okay, so let's move on now to the pound GBPUSD. So like the euro, this market has also been very sideways, although in this case, we do have a recent BOS above these highs. So that gives us this low down here as the protected low. So right around 1.345. If we were to get a sustained break below here, okay, or even one close below here, to be honest, 1 4-hour close, then that would give us a change of character and open up this imbalance down here around 1.33. Okay, so that's still how I'm eyeing things. This is really what I've been eyeing now for the pound, really in the last few videos. If you've seen those videos, guys, there really is no change to this. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that, again, you go back here toward this high right here, which really this is where the pound is trading right now. We've really just gone sideways. I mean, from back here in mid-April, okay, it's now May 7th. We've gone basically from May 7th back here to mid-April. We've gone, just completely sideways here for this market, really giving us not much indication, or really no trend really even to trade here for the pound, which again, this is kind of why I'm trading gold and Bitcoin at least so far this week. Okay, so in the case of the pound, we do have this change of character back here that we talked about. The tricky part with this though is that following this change of character right here is we never got the push down here into this imbalance to give us a buying opportunity, right? So this was a very shallow move, with regard to this change of character. And I still think, just looking at this chart, I still think that this area down here around 1.33 is potentially in the cards. But for that to happen, these lows down here around 1.345 need to be taken out. Okay. So nothing confirmed just yet. If we were to get that though, like I said in recent videos, if we were to get that close below here, okay, so close below here, then you're looking for that lower high to develop. Okay, so let's talk about gold now, XAUUSD, which if you've seen my recent videos on this, guys, what we've talked about there was the fact that back here, you can see where gold did take out this low, okay? And this right here told me that this move up, okay, was likely to be a lower high, simply because if we had come down here and just tapped this low or formed a higher low, then that would start to look more bullish for gold. But instead, we came down here and we took this out. We had acceptance below the low. So again, that told me that this move up, this rally was likely to be relief and only relief. Now, we also had in this area, we had this imbalance back here. So again, we came up here, had some relief, mitigated this imbalance. And what I was watching for back here, and we did get it, was this change of character. Okay, so you can see that right here, we had the change of character with the close below this low right over here, following this BOS. All right, so simple enough, right? It's the same thing every single time, regardless of time frame. Now, this move up here that we had today even, okay, this right here, you can see from the high up here, down here to the low, we did actually tap into OTE right here. And gold was also and still is just slightly in premium. So this is where we want to look for shorts. Now, furthermore, too, what you'll notice is that we also have the top of this channel. Okay, so going back here to this high, you've got this current high. We also have these lows. Okay, so right now we have gold following this change of character, moving within this descending channel. We also have, if you look at the 1 hour time frame, okay, and this is what allowed me to get short earlier today, which again, I did announce in real time in Discord. This right here, this close below, okay, right here gave us an internal change of character. Now, this is very slight. So here's the deal. Here's what I did. And again, I shared this with VIP members in Discord in real time. So this low right here, even though this was very shallow, this was technically an intraday change of character, right? BOS change of character. Now here's the thing about this though, because this low right here was so shallow, okay, in other words, we didn't get a deep retracement before the BOS. I entered into this with a half size position. So my plan going forward is to, short here, right? Stop above the high. And then if we get below this low right here, so a close below here, I'm adding the rest. Okay, so this is kind of a tiered position where I'm not entering everything at once just because, again, this low back here was pretty shallow. Now, as far as targets, though, with gold, if this channel continues to play out, then it's pretty obvious wherever we land at the bottom of this channel. Now, one thing, too, that I've talked about, though, is that below these lows right back here, we do have an imbalance back here in this area for gold just below 4,300. So if we look at this on the 1 hour time frame and go back here toward this low, what you'll notice is that we have this pocket of displacement. Okay, so off this low, we had an aggressive move up. Now we do have a little pocket of an imbalance back here. However, what I want you to notice is that on the 1 hour time frame, notice this lower wick down here. Okay, this is completely untouched down here. So really 4,300, possibly even 4,200 or just below remains my target for gold. Okay, so we'll see how this plays out. If we do get the close again below this low right here, in my opinion, really 46.60 is the one that sellers have to take out. If we see a close below here, then in my opinion, we are looking at potentially a top up here with a move back here toward imbalances like this and possibly even lower. Okay, so keep that in mind as well, that on this move up on the hourly time frame, you can see the displacement back here as well. Okay, so this would be a first target around 4,600, maybe just below this pocket back here. If we get below these lows back here, then of course we're looking at 4,300 or even slightly lower. All right, so let's move on now to Bitcoin here, BTC. So if you guys saw my recent video on this one, I was talking about the potential for the move lower. Of course, so far in May, we have had the market giving us some more relief. And that is perfectly fine because I would rather short higher than lower. So I really only took, in the last couple of weeks, I've taken 2 trades on Bitcoin. The first one was a slight profit. I didn't like what I was seeing. I got out, again, shared all in real time in Discord. Today, I did enter into a new position, which is well in profit. Now, let me show you why. So first of all, if you look at the last external range, so from this high up here, down here to the low, you can also see where recently, guys, this channel right here off these lows and off of these highs, this is very similar to what we got back here, almost a carbon copy. Now, it doesn't mean that it has to play out the same way. But when I see this here, I'm thinking, okay, there's a decent chance that this up here is the top, just like it was back here. Now, you can see here where from this high down here to the low, we have Bitcoin in premium. Okay, so that's the first thing I look for. Now, with that as well, you can also see that we are at the top of this channel. And furthermore, if we go down here to let's say a 15-minute time frame, okay, what you'll notice is that this right here was the change of character that allowed me to get short. Okay, so once we had the market, giving us this BOS up here, we then closed below this low, you now have an internal shift. Okay. So this right here is where I was getting short, stop loss above the high. Now my target, guys, is the one that a lot of people will have problems with, so to speak, because when I look at the weekly time frame, okay, here's what we have. We have a fresh bearish change of character. So you can see that back here, we had the market, right? Nice little pullback here. We had a BOS above that gave us this as the external low. We now closed below. So with this in mind, and also with in mind that you can see back here that really this recent low here targeted this imbalance. And now below these lows right here, we have this imbalance back here. So really like mid 40K or so. This has been my target now, for weeks. Okay. So that is my longer term target. Now, do we get down there? I have no way of knowing that. Nobody does. But this is a longer term hold for me. And I do think the odds of getting down here are pretty good, or at least to come back here and test the bottom of this channel, which I will be, taking some profit there if we do see it. But one thing here too, that I do want to point out before I close out is that if you treat this as another channel, in other words, this back here is the flag. Okay. So flag, channel, and now potentially another flag. If we do this, okay, and we're in linear mode right now on this chart. So with that in mind, if we take a trend line tool off of this high back here, drag it down here toward this low. Okay, so this is essentially the flag of this current channel. Okay, or I'm sorry, the flagpole of this current channel. So if we then take this level here, copy it over, okay, so it's the same exact distance, and then you move it over here and line the top of this up with this recent high. What you'll notice is that, again, this down here, okay, right around 44K, this is the level I've had on my chart now for weeks. So, way before we got up here in this area. So with this recent move up here in May, in other words, with this relief so far in May, it puts the objective literally right there around mid 40K. Okay, now again, this doesn't mean it will happen. I'm not saying that it will happen. I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody does. But all signs right now, in my opinion, point to the potential for a drop from these levels. Now, obviously, if we were to see Bitcoin, get above this recent high, okay, so if we were to see it just take out this high over the coming days, then we're looking at a continuation of this relief here, back here toward imbalances like this. Okay, but right now, guys, what I'm seeing is the market starting to rotate lower. We got the change of character up here. We're at the top of this channel. We're also in premium. And again, the objective, if you treat this as a flag pattern, the objective comes in right at a level that I've had on my chart now for basically over a month. Okay, so a lot of signs right now pointing to a potential move lower for BTC. Of course, a lot of this has to do with, or relies on what happens with the stock market as well, which my opinion only, but I think that we were, close to a top there as well, if not topping out for things like the S&P 500. But anyway, that's it for my take on this. If it helped at all, be sure to subscribe to the channel and also check out the video right here where I walk you through my exact strategy for trading SMC. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you again next week.